Hey friend, guess who's back with another unfiltered, unedited, and unscripted conversation. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about, again, the downfall of being multi-passionate. We're going to talk about how stepping stones are okay and the balance between profit and passion. I'm excited to get into it today. I need to make sure that on our little lives, I just go ahead and get me some snacks, something to drink. But I guess I can do that if I start having guests or something, just saying. Anyway, so starting off, it's so crazy because I honestly didn't know that multi-passionate entrepreneur was a thing, right? I didn't know that it was a way for you to take multiple of your passions and turn it into a business that actually makes sense. And I always say, I show up for the multi-passionate, I show up for the multifaceted, I show up for the big dreamers, all of those people, because I don't know, I feel like when I was building my business, I wanted to do what was, I guess, countering culture. You know what I mean? I wanted to, when everybody was saying niche, I'm like, forget a niche. You know what I'm saying? Niches is not helping me. And I remember posting a video on Instagram saying you do not have to pick a niche. And even a lot of the content that I would create would just be going against the grain, going against what everybody is saying. And so I know you probably looked at this title and you're like, Demaya, you're always cheering on the multi-passionate. And it's I am, because I love being multi-passionate. I love having a big dream. But what happens when you start feeling the frustrations of the big dream and you start feeling the burden of the multiple passions, right? You start feeling overwhelmed and stressed out from having different facets, right? Different avenues. And I just wanted to be honest and have a real and raw conversation about, again, the downfall of being multi-passionate. And so, again, for me, just being honest, when I started my business, again, I've been running my business for 3 years. And when I first started my business, I was just bro, I honestly didn't know how to take my ideas and make it into a business that I saw, right? So I looked out, I'm like, okay, this girl, she's a designer, right? She's a brand designer. That is all that she does. She can do workshops. She can offer different type of things, but it is all honing in on brand design, right? And branding. But for me, it was I wanted to offer different type of offers, workshops, courses, programs, products, all of those things. But for me, it wasn't just on one niche, right? One niche. It wasn't just on one niche. It was literally one on personal development. So all of those things, workshops, courses, programs on personal development, but then also on brand development, right? Entrepreneurship, all of those things. And so again, I'm looking at my ideas and I'm bro, this is a lot. And even after launching my business and different things like that, I think I would have moments where I would sit back and I'm man, I feel and at that time, again, when we're in our feelings, I'm man, I feel if I was to sit down and just focus on one thing, focus on make a niche, right? If I was just to start a business with one niche, I'll be all right. I would be okay. And it's so crazy because it's not that it wasn't possible. It's just that wasn't the vision that I had. Excuse me. And so I started to feel man, if I just focused on one type of business and one niche, I feel I would be doing better. Because it just always felt having multiple passions left me feeling all over the place, right? Where, somebody planning out their year. And it's so crazy because it was the first year. And I'm gonna try to insert clips as I'm talking if I remember. But I remember planning out my year each year. And I can kid you not, like every single quarter, it was switching from like visionary to vision and visionary to vision. And like in 1 year, I would be hosting conferences, hosting, events, taking on new clients, like all of these things like I would be doing in a year. And I realized like, man, a year is not that long. Like it is literally 4 quarters. They got 3 months inside of each quarter. And when I began to reflect this year, like 2024, when I began to reflect, I said, girl, you were doing the most. Like 365 days is really not that long. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to plan, you have to create, you have to execute every single offer, every single course, and then you have to market it, right? And so I'm like, this is literally the absolute most. And when I looked back, I'm like, Demaya, you were literally running at the speed of lightning. I keep saying this, call me Lightning McQueen, because I was dashing them. Like it was just, like looking back, it was hilarious because I've had a set of interns, I think a couple of rotations, I think like 3 or 4 interns every rotation. And we was working. I mean, they stayed under the 10 hours, but we was working, okay? Like we working on this, that. Like, yeah. I'm so grateful that I slowed down. But even looking at this year, again, this was the first year where I was able to slow down and be like, okay, you have multiple passions, right? And I just talked about this on a newsletter like a couple of weeks ago. And I talked about how the problem or the issue is not having multiple passions. The problem and the issue is understanding how these multiple passions go together. Like, what is the core message? Like, what is the message you're pushing? Because you also don't want it to be where your audience is mainly building off of one passion, right? Like whenever you build a brand, again, it's a multifaceted brand. You have to understand really what you're building. And I think that was honestly my struggle for the first couple of years. It was like I had the vision, but being able to articulate that vision. Because I had sat down like with several coaches, right? And it's so crazy because I remember sitting down with this one coach and we worked together and like she was like, okay, you're gonna have to pick one. And it was either visionary side or it was brand building side. And so I'm like, all right, like, cool. Like, I'll just pick one. Like, and I end up picking the brand building. We're going to turn that into an agency, Like, we're going to, take time, build our offers, all the things, right? Like, I sat down and fleshed that out with her. And I end up working with a copywriter and all of those things to really get the messaging and the language. And that is where I really began to hone in on how the vision is only as good as the visionary and how both are connected. And it's so crazy because even after I finished work with her, I tried, just focusing on the brand building side for the first half of the year. And then it was this isn't working. And I don't know if it was a part of me on the inside felt unfulfilled, but I just knew this wasn't working. This wasn't the vision that I had. I'm not just here to help build somebody's brand and focus on the branding and the marketing. That's not what I want. I don't want an agency and that's it. I want more than that. I want, a visionary network. I want, physical and digital products. I want, a brand building agency. I want merch. I want all of these things. And I wanted to share the message that I'm here to build the visionary and the vision. That was what I saw. And when I would take time and step back and just focus on one area, I'm like, this isn't it. And to go to the next point, which is stepping stones are okay, I think that was what my struggle was. Being multi-passionate is if I felt like I stepped back from the entire vision, I felt like I was losing the vision. And I don't know if that makes sense. I'm trying to say it a different way, but I felt like if I wasn't, what am I trying to say? I felt like if I wasn't doing everything, then the message of the brand I was trying to build would get lost, if that makes sense. And so I'm like, if I stop doing this, people won't know me for that. They won't know me for all things visionary, right? And so I'm like, I can't not do all of this. And that was my mentality. Like, I can't, being multi-passionate, I wanted to be known for my multiple passions. I wanted to be known for the fact that I think outside the box. I wanted to be known for the fact that I build the visionary and the vision. So if I focus on brand building or I focus on personal development only, then that's going to take away my brand's core message. And so this was where my struggle was, because I'm like, I understand you have to do one step to the second step, but it's like, for me, I'm like, that didn't make sense to me, because I know the overall vision that I want to build, right? And I think, again, when I was sitting down with coaches, I wasn't able to explain, like, I get it. I get that these are going to be separate brands underneath the brand, but I don't want to run them individually right now. I want to make sure my audience knows the message. And so it's so crazy, because now that I'm sitting here in 2024, I've literally come back to the beginning, which is so crazy, because when I got the instruction to slow down at the end of 2023, it was literally November. I was about to speed race. Like, I was about to drop a whole membership, all things. I told you I want a network, right? Like, I want a global network for us to be able to meet other multi-passionate people, all the things, right? And so, yeah, I was about to drop a whole network. I was about to speed race. I kid you not, Lightning McQueen. And I realized, God opened my eyes to the fact that I needed to slow down. And when he said that, I said, slow down? What do you mean slow down? Slow down. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what you mean by that. Hold on, come again. And it's so crazy, because I didn't fully understand. But going into 2024, I also received the instruction to start back at the beginning, which was my unique brand. When I first launched, I launched with, this is my brand. I am the brand. My Unique is the brand. I'm telling my story. And I'm here, my Unique, your multi-passionate, purpose-pushing, visionary friend. I'm here to build the visionary and the vision. So whenever you see content, whenever you see me drop anything, I am here to do two things: build the visionary and the vision, right? And so in order for me to make it make sense and slow down and go at the pace that I'm supposed to go at, I had to go back to the core of what my brand is. Because again, I talked about this in the newsletter. You have to, when you are building anything with multiple avenues, multiple facets, you have to have a solid foundation, right? You have to have a core message. You have to have a solid structure and organization. And so for me, I had to put together an organization chart. And I like to compare my brand to P&G. I don't know if you ever heard of that brand, but basically it's called Procter & Gamble, and they own Gain, Dawn, all of these brands they own, you know what I mean, underneath their main brand, which is Procter & Gamble. Now, the method that they choose, I think it's a house of brands. The method that they choose, Procter & Gamble is like the undershadow. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the other brands, they spotlight, they have their own commercials, all of those things. You can market it whatever way that you want to market it. But for me, all of the different facets of my brand is housed and exist because of my main brand, which is the My Unique brand. So I didn't want a brand that was behind the scenes. I don't want the My Unique brand to be behind the scenes. It needs actually to be up front, because again, everything else exists because of who I am, right? I'm a trailblazer. I'm unconventional. I think outside the box. I, am a strategist. I am a creative. I am a visionary. I live intentionally. All these things exist because of who I am. And so that's how I've been able to organize my multiple passions, is because the core message of it all is the My Unique brand. You get what I'm saying? And hopefully you get some gems out of here, because it really, really, really sincerely took me a long time to get here. I don't think you understand how long it took me to fully be able to articulate the vision that I could see so so clearly when I close my eyes at night, okay? The vision that I can see so clearly when I just take a second to daydream, I can see what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it's a little hard to articulate what you're trying to say. And I just want to encourage you to know that you don't have to settle. Like, you know what I mean? It's okay that it don't fully make sense right now. It's okay that you're still trying to organize the multiple passions in your head or the multiple passions that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. You're trying to organize it into a business concept that makes sense. Right? And we're not just saying makes sense to your audience, but also makes sense in the business world. You know what I mean? Because in our reality, there is a standard in business, right? Like you sell one product or you have, the business you have is in one industry. But what happens when your business crosses industry and crosses niches? You know what I'm saying? You interested in fitness, but you also interested in fashion or in food or health. You get what I'm saying? Like what happens when your passions begin to cross over? It's no borders. You get what I'm saying? And I think a lot of the times with the world that we live in, there's so many borders and standards and all of those things that I've never fit. So I think that was the frustrating part about it, is that you have to accept being the oddball. You have to accept the fact that, hey, like everybody's not going to get it. You know what I mean? And it's going to, again, I always say this. I say this to my interns. I say this to anybody I coach or mentor. Like, entrepreneurship is an experiment. So get ready to be Bill Nye the Science Guy, Sid the Science Kid, because you really are going to be experimenting with business, and it's going to take a little while to develop the concept, even after you launch. I think that's the thing too. People expect business to be perfect when they launch, and the reality is it's not going to be. Right? Like you can be an expert in your expertise without being an expert in entrepreneurship. And I don't know who needs to hear that, but hey, listen, you do not have to be an expert in entrepreneurship. You can know exactly what you're talking about, whether that's fitness or that's personal development, or, you know what I mean? And I think that's what helped me to sell out my program when I first dropped it. No testimonials, because I was an expert in my expertise. Was I an expert at doing business? No. But I learned that over time. Some of you that are watching are experts in fashion, experts in closet wardrobe organization, experts in coaching, life coaching, and all of those things, experts in baking. And even though you may not know it all, you know more than the average person, right? And also when you consider, the fact that, of course, you're always growing and learning, but at the end of the day, you know more than the average person, and people are looking to come to you for your expertise, right? And so, yeah, those are just things that I want you to consider. You don't have to be an expert in entrepreneurship to start, but you do want to take the time to experiment and test the concept and try to articulate the vision. Every quarter, every year, the vision should get clearer and clearer in your language. Because a lot of times as visionaries and as dreamers, we can see it with our eyes. But when it comes down to talking about it, it's sometimes hard to talk about what you just seen. You get what I'm saying? And I think, and it's so crazy because even those who actually dream when you go to sleep at night, sometimes, when you close your eyes, you can vividly see what's going on. But when you open your eyes and it's time to talk about the dream you just had, it's just like the picture that was just in front of you began to disappear. It's hard to recall. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with our business visions and our business dreams. And so, again, I would say that's the downfall of being multi-passionate, is one that people don't get it. People sincerely don't get it. And it does take time to articulate the vision. It takes time to give language to the dream. And a lot of the times people try to put it into their language, especially coaches. And that's something that I never tried to do. Anytime I had a client come through, I would tell them like, hey, what is your vision? Because I'm not here to give you a vision. I'm here to take the vision that you have and bring it to life. You get what I'm saying? And so I love being able to sit down with clients and hear what they're saying, what they want, what they see. You get what I'm saying? And I was able to put language. And that's what I also feel like helped me in my business, is because that's all I did for clients. Because guess what? It's sometimes easier to help other people than it is to help your own self. Another downfall of being multi-passionate, okay? Because it's like I can help somebody else easily. But it took me a little minute. It took me experimenting a little minute to really get what I want. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same way when I work with clients. I sit down with them, I listen to them, and we perfect it, and we perfect it, and we perfect it. And then after I listen to them and I write it down, then I spit it back to them. I spit it back to them and they like, yep, that's it. That's what I saw. You know what I mean? And so again, that's what it's about. Being multi-passionate is going to take you learning to articulate the vision that you have and putting it on paper so it makes sense to you. You understand what you're building, and don't allow anyone else to write out a blueprint that's not your blueprint. That's not your blueprint. I don't care how good it sounds. Because when I was sitting down with coaches, it was like, yeah, like you can make like 10, 20K off of this. And help me set my prices, all the things, y'all. And I literally walked away and I'm like, all right, I'm about to get one client that will pay $15,000. Sounded good. But then I was working that blueprint for like 6 months and I said, this ain't it. And it was crazy because even when I was getting clients, all of the things, I'm like, this is not it. This is not what I want to do. It's not what I want to do. And then I also realized I'm by myself doing all of this work. So $15,000 is not even worth it to me. I would rather have a team. That's why you have to understand your blueprint, because not every entrepreneur wants a team. I said, I would rather have a team. I don't want to do the strategy, the design, the coaching, the brand. I don't want to do all of that. I can do it. I love it, but I don't want to do it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love my part that I would like to do. And even eventually, I had to think long term. Eventually, I don't want to be in it at all. I want to hire somebody to replace me as the head strategist. Okay? So I could just be the founder sitting at home with my kids. You know what I mean? So that's why it's very important for you to understand and be able to articulate your vision. And don't allow nobody else to articulate the vision for you, because it may not be what you want. It may not be what you see. That's why you need people that's going to be around you, that's going to listen to you. And then when they regurgitated that to you, close your eyes while they read it so it can line up. Line up with what you're seeing. Okay. That's a word. But yeah, so that, honestly, all of that in a nutshell has been my downfall of being multi-passionate. If I was to sum it up all together, I would definitely say the biggest thing about being multi-passionate is being able to articulate the vision and organize and structure all of your multiple passions, right? Like all of the multiple avenues of, your business. And so that's definitely been my struggle. And that pours into so many different things, because if you don't understand, you're not able to articulate the vision well, that affects the business model, which then affects your profit and what you're able to monetize. You know what I mean? So it is really important for you to learn to articulate that, and you are able to see how all of these passions work together for the overarching goal or core message. So then I had to learn, again, stepping stones are okay. It's very much okay. And I chose to be obedient and slow down. And that's the season that I've been in. And right now I've been, again, focusing on the personal brand aspect, which is the My Unique brand. Because again, everything is built off of that. So in order for, everything else underneath to be great and have a great foundation, I had to go back to the My Unique brand, right? I think really hone in on the message of building the visionary and the vision, and making sure that the offers that I do present speaks to both avenues. Because I don't want to be known for one or the other. I also had to acknowledge and be real with, I don't want to be known for this. I don't want to be known for that. I don't want to be known for this. And that's something that you have to think about, because I think sometimes as leaders and entrepreneurs and visionaries and dreamers, especially those who are children of God, We are looking to be a solution, a help, an assist. We always want to help somebody, which is great. But I also need us to identify those things that we are not. So I had to, again, stepping back, realize I'm not a pastor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. Okay. I am the Maya Unique. You're a multi-passionate, purpose-pushing, visionary friend. You get what I mean? So I had to be very clear on the things and the topics that I wanted to talk about, the things that I wanted to be known for, and the things that I don't want to be known for. You know what I mean? Like, what can you come to me for that you can't go to your small group for? Yes, we gonna pray. Yes, we gonna talk about Jesus, but that's not what this group is for. You know what I'm saying? That's not what my content is for. You know what I mean? I'm not here to teach you how to be a better believer. That's what your church home is for. You get what I'm saying? And so I think it's very important to understand what you are there for, what you are not there for. And I think that speaks to a volume or speaks to being multi-passionate, but also speaks to just being a leader, because I also know there's a ministry inside of me. Because again, I'm not only multi-passionate, but I'm multifaceted. You know what I'm saying? I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also a ministry leader. I know that, right? And sometimes those roles can, cross over. However, I also have to implement this boundary there. You know what I mean? And know that, okay, yes, we're going to talk about God. I mean, God may just come in and wreck us all. We're going to be on the floor, on the altar. I mean, that's what we did for the summit, right? However, I also understand that in this business, I'm here to make money. You know what I mean? Now, when it comes to the nonprofit I start and, all of those things, because that's in me too, right? I'm going to show up, girl. I'm going to go all in. But I also have to be aware of what this business is for and what it is not for. And so I do think boundaries are also important, especially knowing how multifaceted you are and the different things that you may have your hands in. Because listen, I got my hands in business and ministry and this and that and this and that. And it's like, girl, you got to understand. So don't know how we went there, but going back to stepping stones are okay. I've come to a place where it's okay to take it one step at a time, because each step I take is getting me to the overall vision that I have, in my head first, but then now on paper. And so I'm moving there. That's what I call needle moving tasks. What tasks are moving you to the vision, or moving the needle toward the vision? And so again, stepping stones are okay. So I've come back all the way to the beginning. I've stopped everything. I mean, brand building services, visionary stuff. Like, I pretty much stopped everything. And we are back at the beginning, back and tightening up. You know what I'm saying? Tightening up ship so that when we move forward, we could be a long-lasting business. That's how you are a long-lasting business. When you are able to pivot and make decisions and slow down and observe and test different things, you are able to last longer. You know what I mean? And I think this is really helping to build my stamina, because it's like, again, the season that I'm in now, like even working at an agency right now and all of those things, it's like, this is equipping me for the vision I see. You know what I mean? That's why stepping stones are okay. That's why it's important to slow down, and you don't have to, friend. If you like me, you don't have to run at the speed of lightning to move the needle, because sometimes you running that fast and the needle's still not moving that fast. You know what I mean? And so I think slowing down has helped me to see the benefit of a stepping stone, and realizing, like, bro, I'm 23. I have to keep reminding myself, you know why? Because I've been driven, and running at the speed of lightning since I was 14. I've been working since that long. And so, yeah, friend, I've enjoyed slowing down. I've seen the blessings of stepping stones, and I'm like, hey, like, in 5 years, I'll be 29. In 10 years, I'll be 39. And I'll still be young, right? Like, in my business, in 5 years will be 8. Like, what? And then in 10 years, it'll be 14? Or is it 16? One or two, y'all. I done graduated high school and college, can barely do quick math, okay? But yes, and so it's just like stepping stones are definitely okay. It's just making sure that you have a vision in place and that those stepping stones are moving you toward that vision. And I think it's just the same as life vision. That's why I believe brand development and brand development and personal development, they reflect each other. And again, when I was first building this idea, I was like, bro, these are on two ends of the spectrum. But now seeing it all come together, it's like, no, they really reflect each other. Because just like you need a vision for your life, right? Like not everything you're going to accomplish right here, right now. I have pregnancy and all of those things on my 5 to 10 year plan, right? And those are things that I desire and have the vision and I see for my life, right? But I know that all of those things I'm not doing right now. I'm moving towards those things. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's actively planning or financial planning, getting the house in order. You know what I mean? For those things. And it's the same thing with your business vision, right? Like, you need to make sure that you have a vision in place so that when you're setting goals, you're moving to that. You're moving toward that. You're achieving those goals because you have a greater vision in mind. If you have a vision to run an agency, maybe one of the stepping stones is you working at an agency. Maybe the next stepping stone is you doing research about an agency. You know what I mean? Or testing it out. Like there's just different things that you can do to help you move that needle. And so again, those are the things that I would say that, I've been learning in this season. And so, learning to articulate the vision again, making it clear, having a vision so that you can know what goals to set and what action steps to take in your business. We were going to talk about balancing profit and passion, but I don't think it's necessary to talk about. I did do a live though. I did do a live talking more specifically. I put this bullet down here just in case, I wanted to talk about it again. It's unedited, it's unscripted. And so I did do a specific live about how I did learn to balance, passions and what I love with making a profit, because I think as creatives, it is important for you to find that balance because sometimes we get lost in passion. We can do what we're doing for free 99, but the reality is your business will go under. Will. And this is a definite will go under because you're not a nonprofit and you're not receiving grants. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not receiving government funding. So your business will go under if you're not focusing on profit. And so that's kind of where I've been, is like really honing in on those money making tasks, those things that are moving the needle. And if they're not moving the needle, that's something that I have to consider. I have to be mindful of the things that I'm willing to launch. You know what I mean? For two reasons. Does it align with the core message? But also, is it going to make us some money? Okay. But so that's pretty much that. Again, I did do a whole live on my YouTube channel, so make sure you go and click that. And I'll also link it in the description box of this video so that you can watch that. But friend, that's all. That's it. Okay. I hope that this conversation really did help you. I hope that you're liking the unedited, unscripted, unfiltered conversation. I kind of sometimes feel like when I'm just talking, I'm rambling a little bit, but I tried to do a conclusion and give you a summary. But hopefully you got your journal out, you taking some gems, you're learning from my experience of being multi-passionate, launching a brand that's multifaceted, and it became profitable. It became sustainable. I make a living off of it. And it supported me and my family. It helped us reach our goals, helped us kill debt. I'm just being honest about, my experience. I am 23 years old and I've been running a business since I graduated college. And that's a blessing because so many businesses go under in the first 5 years. So, so that's pretty much it. Again, that is all that is it. If you like this video, please comment, and subscribe to see more. And comment down below what topics we should do next. That's it. Bye.